Hello, everybody hear me okay? What's up, friends? Hey, Peter, Siobhan, Mitch, Susan. Hey, Andrew, how are you? Thank you for moderating. Andrew in the blue font there. Hey, Sankana, Siobhan, Marjorie, Bonnie, Chris. Chris, thanks for the illustration in this latest home base post. I don't know if people saw, Chris, it's beautiful watercolors. Artsy Traveler, how are you? Hey, Paul. Hey, Rita. Hey, Smiley. Oh, wait, what did I miss there? Anyway, probably lots. Hey, nobody. Great name. Um, okay, well, I'm Jeff. This is the Do Nothing Project, as we like to say. Prepared to be underwhelmed because not much of anything happens. I am just back from teaching the Consciousness Explorers Club retreat, a couple hours out of Toronto. It's still going until tomorrow, but I had to get back for the kids. So that was super fun. And some Do Nothing folks were there, including Ruthless Crabs. You probably won't see her tonight because she's at the CEC retreat and others. And it was just such a great retreat. That's like, I think that's my favorite retreat I do. It's very, it's just very grassroots community. It's not fancy. It's like regular teachers just talking in an honest way about what they're up to. They're not like some super trained IMS teacher. It's just like, the really diverse backgrounds and the whole retreat is paced is very informal. It's all about integration. There's lots of play and exploration and discussion, and it's just a great retreat. So we'll be doing it again next year, but it's also highly affordable, especially to Americans. But we always sell out. But it's we got all these sliding scale things, so it's cool. And So I'm in a good place to meditate. I was gonna light that candle, but forget it. See what I'm gonna do here. So, yeah, if you've never been to the Do Nothing Project before, basically a 25-minute guided meditation, very loosely guided, and you can tune me out if you got your own practice, and you don't even have to kind of formally meditate. It's just really an opportunity to have permission to not do anything in community and feel like you're not crazy to want to do that. And so you can do chores, you can anything that's just not the whole idea. Of course, of meditation has there's lots of different techniques, but the main kind of technique here is just really setting that intention to not indulge with the thinking, to let that pass, and sometimes that's hard and sometimes that's easy. You forget, you come back, but coming back to the present, continually coming back to the present, whether that's the sensation of the breath or sounds, and then also kind of inclining the mind towards appreciation. We call it gladdening the mind. That's kind of a big part of it too. So I thought today, what would I do? I mean, normally just a nothing thing. Tasha was at the retreat and she really guided an amazing practice on our Friday night about. It was great. It was kind of Tibetan Tibetan perspective. She's a Tibetan Lama, she's not Tibetan, but she's a Lama in Tibetan Buddhist tradition, and the she did a really great session on different ways of doing meditating with the eyes, and then also different ways of locating the breath, or air, and the kind of slightly different effects that those have. And so maybe I thought I'd do nothing thing, but I'll point a little bit to some of those breath pieces just in case anyone here likes meditating with the breath as a home base and wants to explore a few of those options. Because what was interesting is in one in particular that she offered, one is just the nose, one's the belly. The lower down you go, the more stable generally. One is the whole body breathing, sense the whole body breathing, and then the last one is a kind of a way of following the breath down and up at the same time. And a lot of people reported that even people who normally don't like working with the breath, found it was really cool. These options kind of open that up for them. So I'll lay those options out, and then, but you don't have to explore them if you're not into it. I'll just say one thing about the one kind of breath thing. This was the one that was kind of the most interesting, and that a lot of people really resonated with and hadn't really heard. And what she was talking about is, there's this natural, when you breathe in, there's a natural, you're oxygenating your cells. There's this kind of enlivenment that you can notice a little bit. So you breathe in, and there's this kind of up energy, a little bit of enlivenment, subtle. And then as you breathe out, there's a little bit of the opposite. There's sort of a downward motion. There's a settling. So you breathe up, there's this kind of upward motion of the energy, you're enlivening, and you breathe down, there's this settling. And what can happen is when people just kind of go with that natural energy flow, sometimes they don't like the breath, because as they're breathing in, it kind of gets them hyperventilated or freaks them out, or whatever it is, it kind of imbalances them. So what she suggested is that there's a way you can breathe, and I'll guide it, where you breathe in, and instead of set your attention going up, I mean, it may not go up for you, but the energy goes up. So as you breathe in, you send deliberately your attention down into your belly. So it's like you're breathing in and there's energy kind of going up, but your attention is going down. And then you breathe out, and you send your attention up, even though there's a kind of a down energy. You see what I mean? So it's sort of like you're like a seesaw, and you're kind of, and doing that kind of creates a more stable, balanced thing going on. It sounds like a lot for the Do Nothing Project. I'm going to just say that up front, but what the hell? We're explorers. I found that cool. So I'll just guide a few options on the breath. If you're into the breath, you can try those out. But other than that, you can just do nothing. And by the way, you can do that laying down. You can try this if you're moving subtly. So it's, it doesn't have to be a seated practice. All right, let's do it. So we'll do, oh, there's Jeff McPhee. Hey, buddy, I thought you were at the retreat. Guess Jeff's on his iPad there in his room. Nice job, dude. Okay, so what time is it? It's 7:30 into it. 25 minutes. No idea what time it is, but I'll just go by that. Whole lot of nothing. Maybe we'll call this episode A Whole Lot of Nothing. It's not a bad idea, actually. Okay. All right, so assume the position, inclining the mind towards good naturedness, like, however this goes, I'm not going to get uptight about it. These sounds, these sensations, this is just what's here. So you can breathe out all that. And we'll be deliberate about our breathing out here. Maybe tuning in a little bit to what I mentioned about that, the kind of default way in which maybe the energy shifts in subtle ways. So we breathe in. It's good to know if you're tired or drowsy, that an in-breath can, sometimes help enliven things a tiny bit. And then long out-breath. Of course, on the out-breath, diaphragm relaxes. There's kind of a settling motion. And we use that deliberately to, kind of begin to relax the body. So the next out breath, as you breathe out, you can soften the worry lines of your forehead, soften the cheeks and the jaw, and the shoulders, the belly. The belly be soft, open, really open to the front. So no bracing. It's like, yeah, the opening to the front is another way to kind of not be, to be allowing of experience. So is opening, lifting your hands and having them forward, receiving hands, they call them in DBT. dialectical behavior therapy. It's Marshall in a hands. Have the hands open instead of palms down, palms open. It's more receptive mode. And that relaxation that even that little bit of relaxation that we kind of nudge ourselves towards at the beginning is important, because if you're tense in your body, it leads to lots of thoughts and less comfortable sits. So you want to find a certain amount of relaxation. That's why I always invite people to lay down too if they want. Although if you fall asleep, it's fine, but you're not really meditating. So some people like to sit just like this, just being a body, not doing anything with your attention, kind of just being here, drifting a bit, but staying in the present. We still have that kind of intention not to feed the thinking. And my, in part because of the things that Tasha guided us through the other night, I realized that my default is kind of that. But what I'm actually doing is just, I like to sit and just notice the whole body sitting, and to a degree, the breath inside that. So this is the most broad one. You're not really noticing any specific point in the breath so much, as much as you're noticing the way the whole breath a little bit moves the body. The way the chest rises slightly on the inhale, or the belly comes up. The way the arms move ever so slightly, because there is this. I'll exaggerate it, but there is this sort of this movement in the body when we breathe. It's very subtle, and you can exaggerate that actually if you like. There some good practices around that. But that's one option for the breath. Is so if you get kind of hung up on getting nitty gritty with the breath, maybe just kind of noticing in this larger, wider way how the breath affects the whole body. So you're just really noticing the body, and then you just sit and be. Mind wanders, come back. So that's a good one. And that tends to be a stabilizing one. Another really stabilizing, more stabilizing focus on the breath is focusing at the belly. That can have a little settling quality. It's just focusing on, maybe the inhale, the tautness in the belly, but it is a little bit more constrained. And then there's, of course, the area of just around the nostril, like that little first bit of inhalation as you breathe in. If it's a little bit of warmth there, or coolness, and that's good for kind of. It gets you a little bit more in your head, but it creates a little bit more clarity, maybe a little bit more sharper. Of course, you can also do this with eyes open. Maybe I'll do that next week, but that eyes open can help with the daydreaming. So there's that nose spot. And then there's this last option that I also mentioned, which is you're kind of paying attention to the whole breath. And you're doing this thing where as you breathe in, you're sending your attention down into the belly. And then as you breathe out, you're sending it's like mist coming off a waterfall, kind of mist coming up. So your attention's a little bit going up. And then as you breathe out, that's right. You breathe out, your attention goes up. You breathe in, your attention goes down. You get the idea. Breathe in, attention down to the belly. Breathe out, attention up here. And you just in this light way, not in a big, giant, swingy way, but just in this light way. And kind of you can notice how that affects things. The reports were, and I found the same, is that it kind of leveled things out so that I felt myself to be more in a kind of steady middle awareness. like more like in the middle of my body somehow. I think you can just explore that. That was a bunch about the breath. So a home base, just something you pay attention to, wander, you come back. Of course, you can also choose sounds and, back of the eyes. There's lots of things. You can have your eyes open, look at something. I'll leave it there. Good. So patient as we, just getting settled. And often the mind has its own momentum, and It's not a problem. It's just what happens. So picks up picks up the mind, you wander off, you notice, you come back, and that's the rhythm of practice, that wandering, remembering, coming back, always good naturedly. It really changes things if you can find that whole process enjoyable or humorous in some way. And you're coming back to potentially one of these different breath options, the nose, the belly, the whole body breathing, or this continuous breath with the attention going down into the belly on the inhale and the attention going up towards the nose on the exhale, or some other home base, including another body sensation. I should have mentioned that's an option too. Tingling in the hands or something. So much of meditation is just about being okay that nothing is happening, and noticing, the expectations or the part that's waiting for something, if that part's there, just backing off from that and kind of letting this exact simple experience be enough. That's where inclining the mind towards friendliness or appreciation is so helpful. Appreciating this opportunity to get quiet, to rest, to be in community. Simple good things. Okay, so last few minutes, nice to check in with some kind of more deliberate appreciation practice or gratitude practice or loving kindness practice. And in some ways, the simplest one is just, as the one I really like is just kind of the equivalent of your evening gratitude journal, which is just thinking about some small thing from the day that you appreciate. And as you do, you can think thank you if you like, or not say that, or just smile, whatever. But like simple things, Like I was in the splash pad with my two boys today, watching them run around. And hilarious. And I appreciate that opportunity. Or maybe it was the feeling of sunlight on your face, or the taste of some food, or company of a pet, or conversation you had, and you can just cycle through a few simple things that you feel like saying thank you for. It could be things right now in your space. It could be this community. It could be this practice. It could be someone in the house with you, or someone you're thinking about. Just practicing appreciation for big and small things. Could be a particularly cool car that you saw, which I did today. Someone's garden, your garden. Big tree in the backyard, or when you pass by near where you live. Some cat sits on a stoop, watches everything. Not friendly, but sort of friendly. Yeah, stoking the fires of appreciation, gratitude. Just another minute there, just whatever way feels not cheesy to you. We get to do this. You don't appreciate the small things. Life's way too hard. Thank you for your practice. I think I got that right, the timing. Thanks, Johnny. Nice to see you. Mitch, may you be well. Action shot. You're welcome, Paul, Victoria, Catherine, Sankana, Rita. Nice, Jeff. Do you want me to do the freeze frame, Andrew? A whole lot of nothing. I like a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Thanks, friends. Bonnie and Elise, nice to see you. Did I do the freeze frame? Did that work? Hey, Melissa. Artsy Traveler. Oh, so you like that? So you like the whole body breathing, Artsy Traveler? Oh, yeah. Anyone try the, as you breathe in, you send your attention down your belly. As you breathe out, kind of more up. Anyone play with that and find that was interesting or annoying, or anyone kind of find that made the breath more interesting to them? Not that you need to use the breath, but okay. So we got here that it was challenging from Myrna, but was appreciating trying it out. Hey, Sheila. Hey, Virtual Debs. Alicia. Okay, so Bonnie liked the up and down opposition. Mitch got into whole body, whole room breathing. Nice. found it challenging. Yeah, totally. It's more complicated. Oh yeah, I feel like it feels like rocking too, Simone. Uh, and made it better even still the anxiety. Hard but good. A lot of that hard but good. Ah, cool. I'm glad to hear it, Christiana. Challenging and then relaxing. Yeah, so that seems to be a bit of a theme that it takes a bit of a while getting into it. It's like sandbags from the cat walking theater. Okay. Okay, great. Nicole, see, that was kind of one of the things. Like a lot of people do hyperventilate when they work with the breath, or it doesn't work for them. And so giving those options can often be like, oh, kind of brings the breath back as something you can work with. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Candace. May your discomfort pass quickly. Finale. Yeah, the seesaws. Totally. That's exactly. And the grounding heart pivot in the middle. That's exactly it. Doing that perfectly. All right, friends. Good to hang out. Um, Next week, maybe we'll play around with the eyes a little bit. I've been enjoying an eyes open gaze more, and there's sort of a few settings to that. It's like a chick, 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 up, center, down, and then closed. And they each have slightly different effects. So play around with that next week. If I forget, Andrew, please remind me. Uh, is that breathwork pendulation? It's not. It's a kind of pendulation, but it's not the pendulation most people mean when they talk about pendulation in practice or in trauma practice. That's more like going between challenging emotional experience and then something that's more stable and comforting, a resource. That's usually what they mean by pendulation. But in a sense, we were doing our own version of it. Um, yeah, I think you're not alone, Chris. Well, we could try a few options and see. You might be surprised. Um, there's a way to do the eyes open that's very specific, though. I'll kind of walk you through it. All right. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, sometimes the do nothing has information to take in. Sorry about that. Try not to make that. It happens every once in a while. Okay. Good night.